This is not about guesswork. This is not about trends. And it is not about attaching a spiritual label to yourself just to feel special. What you are about to read comes from patterns that repeat through history, patterns that echo in scripture, patterns that appear again and again in the lives of people set apart by God long before they even understood their own purpose. A sequence of inner awakenings. A chain of events that seems almost scripted. A mysterious design that marks a soul as different. If any of these signs feel familiar, pay attention. This message is not for everyone. It speaks only to those whose spirit has been calling them for years, sometimes quietly, sometimes painfully, sometimes urgently. Here are the 11 signs that reveal everything about the 144,000 chosen ones. And if you feel something moving inside you as you read this, don't ignore it. 1. The feeling of being different since childhood. For the 144,000, childhood was never normal. While other children blended in effortlessly, you felt like an outsider, watching the world rather than participating in it. You sensed moods, energies, and intentions long before you had the vocabulary to explain them. You weren't weird. You were set apart. The chosen are spiritually awakened before they are intellectually mature. There was always something in you, an alertness, a sensitivity, a depth, that could not be taught or removed. You didn't choose to be different. God marked you before you were born. 2. Intense life pressure at a young age. The 144,000 rarely grow up in comfort. Instead, they walk through fire early: family conflict, emotional wounds, rejection, financial hardship, instability, or betrayal. This is not punishment. It is preparation. The chosen are refined through difficulty because their assignment requires resilience. That resilience becomes part of their spiritual DNA. Before God elevates you, He empties you. Before He trusts you, He tests you. And every test you survived became training for the role you didn't know you would fulfill. 3. Deep compassion that feels unexplainable. One of the strongest signs of the 144,000 is their heart, tender, compassionate, and fiercely empathetic. You feel the suffering of others as if it were your own. You care too much. You love deeply. You forgive repeatedly. This is not weakness. It is a divine imprint. God gives the chosen ones hearts that break easily, not to destroy them, but so they can carry healing to others. Compassion is not something you learned. It is something you are. 4. An inner knowing that you were called for more. No matter what stage of life you're in, there is a persistent feeling inside you. I am meant for something greater. It's not arrogance. It's not fantasy. It is memory. Your spirit remembers what your mind has not fully understood yet. You have always sensed a divine mission, vague at first, then clearer as life unfolds. The chosen ones are born with instinctive purpose awareness. They may wander, but they never feel lost. Because deep down, they know the path will reveal itself in divine timing. 5. Rejection from people you love the most. One of the harshest signs is this. The chosen are rejected before they are accepted. You were misunderstood, underestimated, ignored, and sometimes even hated without reason. Friendships ended mysteriously. Family members treated you strangely. People saw your light before you did, and some could not handle it. Rejection was not personal. It was positional. God removed the people who could not go where He's taking you. He broke the connections that were not aligned with your spiritual assignment. Rejection is a redirection, one of the most painful but most accurate markers of a chosen soul. 6. A season of isolation you did not choose. Every chosen one goes through a period of deep isolation. Not loneliness. Isolation. It is a spiritual operation where God removes distractions, relationships, noise, and unnecessary attachments. During this season, you feel detached from the world. You lose interest in superficial conversations. You withdraw from crowds. You crave silence. You feel God shaping something inside you. This isolation is not punishment, it is consecration. It is God separating the chosen from the ordinary. The world calls it withdrawal. Heaven calls it preparation. 7. Powerful spiritual sensitivity. The 144,000 have heightened spiritual senses. You feel energy shifts instantly. You sense danger before it happens. You can tell when someone is lying, pretending, or hiding something. You receive dreams, signs, synchronicities, and spiritual downloads. This sensitivity is not imagination, it's activation. Your spirit is awake. Your intuition is trained. Your discernment is advanced. Chosen ones are spiritually wired to see what others overlook, hear what others ignore, and understand what others misunderstand. 8. A strange pattern of sudden endings. Jobs suddenly fall apart. Friendships end overnight. Plans collapse without explanation. Doors close right when you think things are getting better. To others, it looks like instability. To the chosen, it is alignment. God closes every door that does not lead to your destiny. And with chosen ones, He doesn't whisper, He slams doors shut. You were never meant to stay in places that shrink your spirit. So life removes those places for you. Every ending was protection. Every loss was rerouting. Every collapse was clearing the path for your real mission. 9. Unusual strength in moments when you should break. There are moments in your life when you should have collapsed. Moments where people expected you to fall apart. Moments where even you thought you wouldn't survive. And yet, you rose. Not by your own power. Not by your own intelligence. But by divine reinforcement. The chosen ones have supernatural endurance. They survive storms that destroy others because they carry spiritual backing. When your strength runs out, another strength takes over. When your hope fades, a spark rises from somewhere unseen. This resilience is not human. It is a sign of divine selection. 10. A calling to heal, guide, uplift, or protect others. The 144,000 are not chosen for titles. They are chosen for service. Their presence uplifts. Their words heal. Their energy comforts. Their guidance awakens something in others. People confide in you naturally. Strangers open up to you instantly. Broken souls seek you without knowing why. Your energy is medicine. Your presence is refuge. Your spirit is lighthouse. This has nothing to do with ego, it is simply your design. The chosen are spiritual stabilizers on earth. 11. A growing disconnection from the material world. As your spirit activates, your interests shift. You lose desire for empty entertainment. You outgrow shallow conversations. You become uninterested in status, fame, or validation. Your soul longs for depth, truth, wisdom, and spiritual alignment. This detachment is not boredom. It is elevation. God is lifting you above the noise of the world because you are needed for something higher. The 144,000 are not driven by material desires. They are driven by purpose. Your transformation is not random, it is intentional. So what does all of this mean? If these 11 signs resonate with you deeply, not in your ego, but in your spirit, then understand this. You are not here by accident. Your struggles were not mistakes. Your pain was not pointless. Your isolation was not abandonment. Your intuition was not imagination. Your calling was not coincidence. You are part of a divine pattern, a spiritual blueprint that has existed for centuries. The chosen ones are not the loudest, not the most famous, not the most perfect. They are the ones who carried suffering silently, loved deeply, felt intensely, healed others while hurting, and kept the faith even when life gave them every reason to give up. The world may not see your significance yet, but heaven has been watching you since the beginning. The signs are not random. They are reminders. And now you must decide. Will you step into your calling? Or will you keep hiding from the identity your soul has been whispering to you all along? Because once the chosen awaken, nothing can stop what God built inside them. The moment a chosen one begins to recognize the signs within themselves, something profound begins to shift in the unseen realms. It is not dramatic at first. It is not loud. It begins quietly, like a subtle vibration rising from the depths of the spirit, reminding the soul of what it came here to do. This realization does not happen in one day. It unfolds through experiences, some painful, some enlightening, some confusing, and some beautifully divine. But once the awakening begins, it cannot be reversed. For the 144,000, this is the moment when life stops feeling random. You begin to see threads connecting your pain, your victories, your losses, and your intuition into one coherent tapestry. You begin to understand why you were always different, why the world felt heavy, why relationships never lasted the way they did for others, and why you always sensed something beyond the surface of life. Your entire life becomes a message, written not just for you, but for those you were destined to guide. And the strange part, you don't even try. People are drawn to you without knowing why. Light follows you without your permission. Spiritual insight flows through you even when you're silent. It is simply who you are. The path of the chosen is not easy. It is not glamorous. And it is definitely not for the faint-hearted. You were not selected because you were perfect, you were selected because you were willing. Willing to carry burdens others could not handle. Willing to feel deeply in a world that numbs itself. Willing to stand alone when the crowd chose comfort over truth. Willing to keep your heart open even after it had been shattered. This willingness is what separates the chosen from the masses. Even when you didn't understand your path, you never abandoned it. Even when you felt weak, you kept walking. Even when your soul cried out, you kept trusting. Even when God was silent, you stayed faithful. This is the imprint of the chosen. They do not give up, not because they are strong, but because something in them refuses to let go. Something fierce, ancient, and divine keeps them anchored. Something that speaks to them in their darkest nights. Hold on, you were built for this. As the chosen awaken, they begin to realize that their life was never truly about them. Every wound trained their empathy. Every rejection sharpened their discernment. Every fall strengthened their spirit. Every breakthrough opened their vision. And every quiet moment of reflection deepened their connection to the divine. The chosen ones carry a mission that is encoded in their spirit long before their physical birth. This mission often feels heavy because it affects everything. They cannot live superficially. They cannot lie to themselves. They cannot pretend to be like everyone else. Their spirit rebels against anything that does not align with their divine frequency. This is why chosen ones grow uncomfortable in situations that are beneath their purpose. They feel out of place in environments that drain their energy. They sense immediately when they are being spiritually suffocated. Their soul begins to whisper, "This is not where you belong." And the whispers become louder until they can no longer ignore them. The world has always misunderstood people like you. You reflect truths people are not ready to face. You carry energy people cannot define. You trigger the shadows of those who hide from their own inner work. And yet, instead of fighting back, the chosen ones choose compassion. They understand that people act out of wounds. They see the layers behind anger. They sense the pain behind hostility. They can read someone's spirit faster than they can read their words. This is not a skill, it is a spiritual inheritance. Chosen ones can feel what others hide. They can see what others overlook. They can recognize souls by their vibration alone. They can discern intentions without being told a single detail. This is why God often isolates them, because their spiritual capacity is far beyond what their immediate surroundings can handle. Isolation is protection. Isolation is refinement. Isolation is spiritual rewiring. During those quiet seasons, the chosen ones experience tremendous internal growth. Their gifts sharpen, their hearts heal, their spirit strengthens, their purpose clarifies, and their connection to the divine becomes unshakable. It is in these silent seasons that God whispers, "This is who you truly are." As their awakening deepens, the chosen ones begin to notice something unusual. The world starts exposing itself to them. They see truth in places where others see nothing. They recognize deception instantly. They sense hidden motives. They detect spiritual darkness behind people's smiles. And they feel energetic shifts before anything physical occurs. This heightened awareness is not a burden. It is a shield. The chosen ones are not just spiritually sensitive, they are spiritually armored. The more they awaken, the stronger their aura becomes. Darkness recognizes this light long before the chosen recognize themselves. This is why many chosen ones experience spiritual attacks early in life. Darkness hits them before they know how to defend themselves. But the more they awaken, the less effective those attacks become. Because what stands behind them is far greater than what stands against them. Their protection is not visible, but it is powerful. Their guidance is not always audible, but it is constant. Their backing is not human, but heavenly. One of the most defining experiences for the chosen is the moment they realize that their pain had purpose. This realization does not happen through logic, it happens through spiritual revelation. Suddenly, things begin to make sense. The heartbreaks were not to destroy them, but to teach them depth. The betrayals were not to harden them, but to teach them discernment. The loneliness was not to punish them, but to teach them self-connection. The losses were not to weaken them, but to teach them surrender. When the chosen ones look back, they start seeing divine fingerprints on every chapter of their lives. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was a mistake. The chosen ones walk a path that most people cannot recognize until they have walked it themselves. There comes a point when the chosen begin to remember who they are, not intellectually, but spiritually. Their soul starts to reclaim its original identity. Their energy shifts. Their eyes sharpen. Their aura expands. People around them feel the change even if they cannot explain it. The chosen ones step into their power quietly but unmistakably. They stop chasing. They stop apologizing. They stop explaining. They stop hiding. They begin to understand that their existence alone is part of their mission. Their presence awakens. Their voice heals. Their silence speaks. Their energy transforms. People who cross their path do not remain the same. The activation of the chosen continues in stages. Some stages feel peaceful, others feel chaotic. Some stages bring clarity, others bring confusion. But every stage leads to transformation. One day you wake up and realize you cannot return to the old version of yourself. You cannot tolerate what you once tolerated. You cannot shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You cannot pretend to be ordinary when you were created to be extraordinary. Your spirit refuses to go backward. And this is when the chosen begin stepping into alignment. They find themselves drawn to new environments, new people, new assignments, and new spiritual frequencies. Opportunities appear that match their divine identity. Pathways open that were once blocked. Their intuition becomes their compass, and their faith becomes their anchor. The chosen ones stop following life, life begins to follow them. With awakening comes responsibility. With understanding comes transformation. With clarity comes mission. The chosen ones are called to elevate the collective consciousness, to heal where there is suffering, to guide where there is confusion, to awaken where there is spiritual sleep, and to stand firm where the world is collapsing. They are not here to be silent observers. They are here to be catalysts. Their mission is not loud, but it is powerful. Not dramatic, but deeply transformative. Not about fame, but about impact. God does not choose the brilliant. He makes brilliant those he chooses. Everything the chosen ones went through, every tear, every breakthrough, every fall, every rise, was part of a divine orchestration preparing them for a moment in time when their presence would be needed the most. And that time is now. You are awakening not to escape the world, but to transform it. You are remembering not to feel special, but to fulfill your assignment. You are rising not for yourself, but for everyone connected to your destiny. The signs were not random. They were confirmation. The calling was not a whisper. It was a reminder. You are not stepping into something new. You are returning to who you've always been. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the inner shift becomes undeniable. It is not triggered by a major event, not by a miracle that splits the sky, and not by a sudden revelation that shakes the earth. Instead, it happens quietly, often during an ordinary day, during a silent moment, during a simple breath. Something inside you rearranges itself, clicks into place, and whispers. You are ready. Ready for what, you may not know immediately. But the sensation is unmistakable. A deep inner alignment, a sense of clarity that pierces through the noise of the world, a knowing that your purpose is no longer a distant echo, it is a calling rising from within your bones. This inner readiness comes after years of confusion, questioning, and spiritual tension. It comes after resisting your path, doubting your abilities, and underestimating your own spirit. But when it arrives, it changes everything. You feel less afraid of the unknown and more afraid of staying in the wrong place. You feel less concerned with judgment and more concerned with authenticity. You feel less attached to old identities and more drawn to your true self. As the chosen awaken fully, they begin peeling away all the layers the world forced onto them. They shed old beliefs, old wounds, old patterns, old versions of themselves. They begin purifying their inner landscape, making room for the divine purpose that has always been inside them. It is a rebirth, not into a new identity, but into the identity that was hidden beneath years of survival. One of the most profound realizations that arrives during this awakening is that the chosen ones were never meant to fit in. The world tried to mold them, but the spirit within them resisted every attempt. The inner discomfort they felt throughout their lives was a sign, not of failure, but of spiritual incompatibility. The chosen ones are not here to blend. They are here to brighten. They are here to shift. They are here to elevate. Their very presence disrupts stagnant energy. Their words challenge illusions. Their silence reveals truth. And their light exposes darkness wherever they go. This is why people may have projected jealousy, insecurity, or hostility onto you without reason. Your light irritated the shadows in them. Your confidence triggered their doubts. Your growth activated their fears. It was never about you personally, it was about something in them that reacted to the energy you carry. As you awaken, you begin to see that nothing you experienced was unfair. Everything was preparation. Every person who left your life cleared spiritual space for someone aligned. Every betrayal strengthened your ability to discern deception. Every loss taught you detachment. Every disappointment taught you perseverance. Every delay refined your patience. You were not being broken, you were being forged. The deeper the chosen step into their spiritual identity, the more they begin to understand the language of the divine. It is a language not spoken with words, but with synchronicities, instincts, dreams, and inner guidance. You start noticing signs that repeat themselves. Numbers that align in strange sequences. Dreams that feel like messages. Coincidences that feel intentional. Intuition that becomes impossible to ignore. This is the universe responding to your awakening. This is God confirming your alignment. This is the spiritual realm guiding your steps. The chosen ones do not walk blindly, they walk guided. Even during moments where they cannot see the full path, they feel the next step. They sense where they must go. They are led by an inner compass that never malfunctions. And the more they obey this guidance, the more their life begins to synchronize in miraculous ways. Doors open without effort. People appear at the right time. Opportunities align perfectly. Obstacles dissolve unexpectedly. This is the reward for alignment. The world begins to rearrange itself around your purpose. Yet even in the midst of spiritual elevation, the chosen ones face challenges that are unlike anything others experience. Because their mission is great, their battles are great. The more light they carry, the more resistance they encounter. Their growth threatens forces that thrive on stagnation. Their awakening disrupts systems built on illusion. But what sets the chosen apart is not the absence of struggle, it is the ability to transcend it. Others collapse under pressure. The chosen rise through it. Others break from stress. The chosen transform through it. Others lose themselves in chaos. The chosen find themselves in it. Struggle for the chosen is not a sign of defeat, it is a sign of transformation. Each challenge is a spiritual initiation, sharpening your senses, expanding your endurance, and strengthening your connection to the divine. As you evolve, you realize something powerful. The battles were never sent to destroy you. They were sent to reveal you. Chosen ones eventually enter a stage where their life accelerates. Things that were delayed begin to manifest. Answers that were hidden become visible. Strength that was dormant awakens. It's as if the universe is saying, "Now, your time has come." This stage is both exhilarating and overwhelming. Doors start opening faster than you expected. Your spirit upgrades faster than your mind can process. You sense a momentum pulling you forward, pushing you into alignment with your destiny. You find yourself attracted to things that lift your spirit and repelled by things that drain it. You become more protective of your energy, more intentional with your time, and more selective with the people you allow into your inner circle. This is not arrogance, it is spiritual maturity. For the chosen ones, energy is currency. And they cannot afford to spend it on anything that lowers their vibration or distracts them from their mission. Their focus sharpens. Their clarity stabilizes. Their purpose takes form. There is also a moment in the chosen one's journey when they begin to understand why they were kept hidden for so long. They were not ignored, they were preserved. They were not overlooked, they were protected. They were not forgotten, they were being prepared. Great souls are never revealed too early. Their light would blind the unprepared. Their message would be dismissed by the immature. Their mission would be sabotaged by the unhealed. So God hides them, not underground, but under grace. Not away from people, but away from distraction. Not from their purpose, but for their purpose. When the time is right, the chosen emerge, not seeking attention, not craving validation, but radiating a spiritual authority that cannot be denied. People recognize something in them, something pure, something powerful, something ancient. Their presence feels familiar, as if their soul has walked this earth many times before. People may say, "I don't know what it is about you, but something feels different." That something is your divine identity revealing itself. As they rise, chosen ones begin to attract other awakened souls, other spiritual warriors, healers, guides, visionaries, truth seekers, and light carriers. This spiritual connection is effortless, immediate, and profound. There is no need for explanation. Their souls recognize each other instantly. This gathering is not coincidence, it is part of the divine plan. The 144,000 do not operate alone. They are a collective, a network of awakened souls dispersed around the world, each positioned strategically, each carrying a piece of the mission. When they unite, physically or spiritually, their power becomes exponential. They uplift each other. They strengthen each other. They awaken each other. They activate each other. This collective unity is what the world has been waiting for, an emerging wave of souls who carry wisdom, compassion, courage, and divine light. But even as the chosen gather, each one holds a unique assignment. Each one carries a distinct frequency. Each one possesses spiritual gifts tailored for a specific purpose. Some are healers. Some are teachers. Some are protectors. Some are visionaries. Some are spiritual warriors. Some are guides. Some are generators of love and compassion. Your mission is not to imitate others. Your mission is to embody who you were designed to be. Your power lies in authenticity, not imitation. Your strength comes from your originality, not conformity. Your influence emerges from your truth, not your image. The chosen ones do not compete with each other. They complement each other. And finally, the chosen ones reach a stage where they no longer fear their own power. For years, they dimmed themselves to avoid intimidating others, to avoid standing out, to avoid discomfort, or to avoid conflict. But as their spirit expands, they begin embracing the fullness of who they are. They stop shrinking. They stop hiding. They stop apologizing for their intensity. They stop carrying the burden of other people's insecurities. This is their liberation. This is their activation. This is their ascension. Everything they went through has led to this moment, the moment they step fully into their divine identity, aware, awakened, aligned, and unstoppable. They are no longer searching for who they are. They are embodying who they are. The world does not need more noise. It needs more light. And the chosen ones are finally ready to shine.